All right, welcome to another episode
Oh,
of the Engine Room Chat, and this is a special episode where we invite
right.
the game developer of Mechabellum, Bearlike, to talk about his vision, what's currently happening in the game of Mechabellum, and what might be coming in the near future. So this episode is very exciting because we've just had a big update with the new unit called the Void Eye. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit, and of course, I have a long list of community questions that I'll be going with Mr. Bearlike. Welcome. So
Yeah.
first, let's just talk
Yeah.
about Void Eye, right? Brand new unit. Looks very different than a lot of other units currently that's in the game. Maybe we'll start from the concept of Void Eye. What inspired you to create Void Eye, and why specifically a unit that fits this 100 supply damage dealer role?
Yeah. So we have always want 100 uh 100 supply damage unit that have multiple models. Like we have the marksman who is like only one model and very long range. But we always want something else that is good against units like steel balls and also have multiple models. So, but we didn't know we want a void eye necessarily. It's like after we finished the design, not after, like during the design of the abyss, we gradually think, oh, okay, the abyss look is interesting and cool. We want something like complementary to abyss. So void eye is like a unit that have the similar theme as abyss. Uh, so that's where at that time we decided, okay, let's make it look like this. But before we decided the look of the void eye, we always want some 100 damage dealer. It's like before we only have marksman. That's not enough. We want semi-chaff damage dealer. That's what we always want, and that's what we added to the game. Yeah.
So, what inspired the design of the Void Eye? I mean, I personally saw many inspirations from the game that I played before, but I'm just curious what which specific, if there is a specific creation that inspired Void Eye design.
Void eye is all it's basically sea creature theme unit. It's uh, like a squid when it's flying, and so it's like I'm not sure what exactly we just want like a so the abyss is like a big jellyfish, so we think it looks cool. We want something else like a little bit looks like a little bit like a sea creature, also a little bit like a alien technology inside. That's where we want it, and how it looks actually is like very heavily related to the aerial mode tag. So we want something that can transform to an air unit. That feature actually is like influence a lot, influenced the design of the look, that it has to be able to transform.
I remember you saying that the Mechabellum lore is being worked on, and I do see a lot of similarities in design language between the Void Eye, the Abyss, maybe even the Wraith. Is there any
Yeah.
connection, story-wise, among these three units that you can tell us?
Well, in the lore, it is still being working on. There is like uh, this ancient machine god, and the humans just find the relics over the planet, and some of the relic have like a piece of tech in it, so humans integrate those to their own weapon. So that's why those units are feels a little bit like alien technology, because from ancient alien machine. God, that's that's the law behind it. But the overall law is very. I think it's probably too complicated. We are still working on to make it better, and we are still working on how should we present the law to all the players. Right now, we haven't found a very good approach to tell the story of Mechabellum. We're still finding, we're still searching for searching for a method where we can tell the law, tell the story of Mechabellum in an engaging way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, looking forward to those. Speaking of Void Eye, so far, I mean, it's a brand new unit, so everybody is just getting their hands on it. They're trying to find their place in the meta, and these are very early comments. And the early comment is essentially for a unit that is supposed to be a backline, high damage dealer. They have very short range. How are you feeling? I feel like that is intentional, so I want to hear your side of the story. Like, what is the design idea for a unit that is a backline but also short range?
Yeah, we actually don't consider it a pure backline unit. That's why it have the shield and also have EMP armor. But I do think the Void Eye is probably a little bit weak. Although it's like too early to tell because the patch is just out and people are still finding ways to play it. But if like a week from now, we still feel the Void Eye is a little bit too weak, we will buff it. Like ideally, there's 3 ways to buff Void Eye: HP, damage, and range. The easier way to buff it is just give it more range, and it will become a pure backline unit. But I feel it may be too one-dimensional, and so we are considering give it more HP. So it is like it's not as fragile, and this will give the defensive tech a little bit more usage in the because there's like 3 defensive, not 3 frontline tech: the energy absorption, the shield, and the EMP armor. Those are all like for those tech to be effective, Void Eye probably needs a little bit more HP. So that's the buff I was like considering the most. Just give Void Eye more HP so it can be a semi frontline unit.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't make this decision by myself. We are still collecting feedbacks from the community, and I'm still discussing this with my colleagues.
And what's your current favorite strategy for those of us who are new to this unit? What do you play Void Eye as? Like, what are some use cases that you love using Void Eye?
Yeah, when I play Void Eye, it's like I think it pairs well with Tarantula. My go-to strategy is go for Void Eye and make Void Eye fly and force Maston on the enemy side. Then I play Abyss with missile. So Abyss with the missile can like kill Maston, and that's my go-to strategy. I have like an okay win rate with that. Like it's tricky to find the right time for the Abyss to show up. But that's my go-to strategy for when right now. But I believe it definitely is not fully optimized. Yeah.
Okay. Another big update this time is the undo button. First of all, congratulations.
Yeah.
This is finally out. I've used undo button. I find it extremely useful, but also a little too powerful, right? Sometimes you go too deep into it and it's like, oh no, I forgot one thing, and then I undo everything on that turn.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing for now, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have a few questions on unit balance from the community. So the first question, we had a player that mentioned about targeting, specifically about Vulcan targeting. Vulcan has been pretty stable for a little while. So the question was, the player was probably having some issues with Vulcan being locked on to higher HP units over Chaff. What do you think of that? Is Vulcan need some rework, or is it in a good place?
Well, manipulating your opponent's units and make your opponent's unit to attack the wrong target is a very big part of the strategy here. So I understand the pain where your chaff clear is attacking high HP unit and where your high damage dealer is attacking chaff. That actually is by design. That's where like if you find your chaff clear is attacking high HP unit and your damage dealer is attacking chaff, that means your opponent are successfully manipulated the targeting system to make your unit less efficient. With that being said, we do have tech like heavy targeting on steel balls, where it will like prioritize high HP units. My thinking is like if we make Vulcan always targeting small unit, it will make the smaller unit much less viable, and also removing a big chunk of the strategy. If we can't just make Vulcan do it, like everybody should like attacking all the chaff clear should attacking chaff, and if in a world where the chaff clear always attacking chaff, the damage dealer always attacking high HP units, it basically became a range and damage contest, because everybody is maximize their efficiency, and whoever have the longer range and bigger damage just win. That's not gonna be a very fun game. But I do think it's not absolute. Like Vulcan is the best chaff clear in the game. So gaming like we have this internal change proposal for a long time, because Vulcan actually have two hand. We have been considering make Vulcan's two hand attack different targets. So like the left hand priority units on the left, the right hand priority units on the right, and by adding this tag to Vulcan, it needs to reduce Vulcan's damage to half. Otherwise, both hand attacking single unit gonna double the damage. So we have been like considering like make the two hand of Vulcan lock on different units. But we haven't got the time to test it. So we will see. Maybe this is a good idea, and I think this definitely gonna be make Vulcan's shaft clear ability a little bit better and more reliable. This actually is like what we are gonna do is we are gonna tweak all the units and add new tag to all the units in the next few seasons. Like I said in the patch note, 1.5 patch note, like with the addition of Void Eye, we actually like from our design, from our original plan, the Void Eye creates like the one last unit where you actually filled all the basic role in Mechabellum. So right now we are kind of satisfied with the unit roster. I think each unit have a counter and there's a lot of strategy there, but I'm not satisfied with how all the units are being performing. There's lots of units that don't have that many tag choice, and there are units that are not performing well as we would like it to be. So in the next few seasons, we would like to improve the older units while we like experimenting with the buildings, new system such as buildings, and yeah, I guess this is too long a answer to the Vulcan question.
No, that's good. I'm taking notes on all of this. But interesting idea with the two hands. That would definitely solve some issues. But I agree with you. With that was essentially a strategy that the opponent used to make sure that your Vulcan lock onto a bigger unit. I use that all the time. And I like to remind the community of the time where ER Vulcan existed. An extended range Vulcan card not only gave Vulcan additional range, but also 50% increased damage. So there was a period where every time you take that card, you win the game because your Vulcan can do almost as much damage as a melting point. So you're killing giants and you're killing chaff with a single unit. And right now, thank you, Bearlike, for your answer. I think Vulcan is good for what it's designed to do. Now, speaking of a unit that is good for what it's designed to do, another unit that is very good right now, or at least from the games I've seen, I've played, and also in my group that my friends been talking about, is the improved Wasp card. Yes, there's definitely counter. I'm not saying there's no counter. There's, but it feels very good every time that card drops and you take it and your opponent doesn't. And right now it's also very good when you combine that with units like the Abyss, because in the past, the improved Wasp, the main counter is anti-air Mustangs or Fortress anti-air, right? Fortress anti-air only covers for a short period until the Wasp goes to level 4 or above, because it just becomes too tanky. Mustang anti-air is usually the best counter to Wasp. Right now, Mustang is suffering a little bit because of the Abyss rocket. So how do you feel about the Wasp, the improved Wasp card right now specifically?
Yeah, I just checked the stats on like improved Wasp. It is above average. It is like a high win rate card in the game, so it is definitely strong. So we are like gonna like probably rebalance some of the unit variant card. But like a fun fact, actually improved Phoenix, you probably should try it. Improved Phoenix actually have like much better.
Yes.
Win rate that improved wasp.
Yes.
So all the improved card, improved wasp, improved overall, improved phoenix, especially improved phoenix actually have very good win rate. But I guess because improved phoenix is like more like people are not familiar with it, and it actually changes the phoenix a lot. So maybe that's why it have a higher win rate, because people just not used to play against it. Maybe that's the reason. But I do think there are multiple unit variant cards that need to be balanced. We were waiting for Void Eye, because we thought like Void Eye gonna change the meta a lot. So we were waiting for the release of Void Eye, then we can like rebalance everything. Because once Void Eye, like if we like do mass rebalance before Void Eye, when Void Eye came out, gonna change the meta.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we are waiting for the release of Void Eye to rebalance everybody. But now, because we have defensive building next season, so it's gonna change the meta once again. So I guess it's like we are running on an endless treadmill. It's treadmill. It's like whenever we think, wow, now it's balanced, we can like tweak the little things. Then there's something big released, then well, we need to do it over again. Something like that. I'd like to like at some stage we would like the Mechabellum over balance to be stable, so we can like pick the little things and add different mode to the game. But right now we just always have some new idea we want to implement and change the whole meta again. So, well, I guess this is once again a super long answer to a simple question.
Well, two things I picked out. Yes, improved Phoenix is excellent. For new players who haven't really had a chance to play against improved Phoenix, Horde anti-air does not work. Something that always works into regular Phoenix doesn't work with improved Phoenix because of its 250% increase in HP. Essentially turns Phoenix into sledgehammers, which means you need very dedicated anti-air. And I think that's where a lot of new players fall short. They just think, oh, I put 2 force down into your 2 packs of Phoenix and it will kill them. No. And then the other thing from your answer that I liked was this, I wouldn't call it a treadmill. We're not a hamster on a wheel, always running towards the next meta, right? I think meta is something that players discover over time. For example, the Abyss, when it first came out, everybody said it was underperforming. And then eventually somebody figured out, okay, there's a way to play Abyss in almost like the classic sledgehammer boat combination, but switch the boat with the Abyss and then work out pretty well. And now it becomes kind of a thing, right? So I think there'll always be new things. Right now, the Void Eye is brand new. So people will just see it as what it is on face value, but over time, people will discover its benefit. Personally, I play Void Eye with the Wraith a lot. I think those two units work really well together, better than Tarantula, because one thing that Tarantula, the reason I don't like Tarantula is that without range, the Void Eye likes to hug the Tarantula, or sometimes like to move a little bit more, and then it gets targeted. So with Wraith, it's air unit doesn't have that much pathing problem. They just kind of stack together a little bit. And I find some success with that. And it's always fun to do Void Eye Wraith and then at around turn 4 or turn 5, click air. And then all of your opponent's anti-ground unit stop working, and it was just beautiful to see.
Yeah, sure. And
Spe-
also it helps like even in the area mode, Void Eye still have a longer range than Wraith.
Yes. Speaking of units, so the new units will slow down, and we're going to be focusing on existing units and technologies. Let's talk about rare units. So right now we have Fire Badger, Typhoon, Farseer. They're in the rare unit roster. So these are the units that you cannot reliably get from the unit selection unless you're a specialist or you get it from a drop. What are some plans on expanding these units, and in what direction are they going?
Our goal is to make it like not a rare unit. But right now I think they don't have enough tag, and the balance a little bit off. So we still are, for example, Typhoon. If you can reliably get Typhoon, it became a little bit too strong, and mainly because Typhoon's attack pattern, Typhoon with level, is like super strong. With level and with item is super strong because it have the same attack pattern as Maston. That's why Typhoon never got. Typhoon is the one unit that do not have a range tag because its attack pattern is super unhealthy, and this gets amplified by its missile. Its missile is long range and also can grow with Typhoon's level and item. So high level Typhoon with shield with missile just kills everything. There is no obvious counter for it, at least in previous meta. But nowadays we have like a more damage dealer in the game, and we have stuff like Abyss, like have a super high HP. Maybe it's time for we rebalance Typhoon and make it a regular unit. But we still like need to do. We need to do a remake of Typhoon before we can make it a regular unit. Same goes for Farseer. Farseer is like the problem with Farseer is for lower MMR. Farseer is an anti-everything unit because Farseer actually are very good against not very good. Farseer is good against high HP units and also like low HP units because it have a pretty good damage and also pretty decent splash range. This make the counter to Farseer actually is either you build a lot of chaff or you build like a super high damage, super high HP unit, because Farseer can do both, but it cannot do it very well. So if you have lots of chaff, you can stop Farseer, or if you have like units with super high HP, you can stop chaff. But for lower MMR player, they just from what we're seeing, they just build some chaff, build some high HP unit, and Farseer end up countering everybody. so Farseer always have a higher brain rate in low MMR range. When we balance, because the lower MMR range player actually is the 90% of the player base. So we always consider the experience in lower MMR range. So we are still like, we want to for both Typhoon and Farseer, we need like find a clear counter for those two units. Then we can make it a regular unit instead of rare unit. Right now we haven't found a way to do it, so but we would like it to be a regular unit.
Very interesting. one question that the community is asking is the starting composition. So starting composition involving, so I'm jumping ahead on the list of questions a little bit since we're talking about units and composition.
Yeah.
So this one is about starting units, their HP. This was reworked. Actually, it's constantly being reworked. I think there's many updates where you are tweaking this unit, starting unit. Is that something that will continue to be a thing that you look very closely? Just the starting pack, HP, and unit composition?
Yeah, we are like we will like constantly tweak the HP of the starting specialist and also the starting unit composition. Those we will continue to tweak. There are two major balance issue for the starting specialist and unit. For the starting units, the one major issue is where the anti-air units are always a little bit weaker. For example, fan and Mustang, those units, because they can attack air, they actually have less damage than other like ground rolling units. But on round 1 there is no air unit, so you have this attack. You have this advantage of being able to attack air, but on round 1 there is no air unit. So on round 1, the units that can attack air always have at a disadvantage. And if you have a pack where there's 2 anti-air units, it's just gonna increase incredibly, extremely weak. Like if you put Marksman and Mustang, or Fan and Mustang, it's gonna be super weak. We don't have a Marksman and Fan pack, but if we have, it's gonna be super weak. So that's the one problem where like there's no air unit on round 1, and what we do with all these units that can attack air. This also is a symptom of removing Phoenix from the starting pack. When Phoenix was in the starting pack, this is not an issue, but now Phoenix is out. I still think removing Phoenix from the starting pack is a good decision, but once we remove Phoenix, this problem just gonna be here. So we are trying to tweak the HP of those unit composition but there's just only so much you can do by tweaking the HP. So pack like Fan Mustang, we just removed Fan Mustang completely because there's not enough player HP bonus gonna compensate Fan Mustang start. We are looking for maybe certain pack have a little bit more supply, but that's gonna complicate the whole game and make it even harder for new players to learn the game. So I'm not sure how we can solve this. For now, we just like if a unit start is too weak, we just remove it, and if it is too strong, we also remove it. Like no, Rhino is a 200 unit, but there's no Rhino crawler starting pack. It's just too strong. 2 melee ground rolling units on round 1 is just gonna kill everybody because there's just no air unit to counter it. And yeah, so right now we choose the removing approach. So for specialists, there are like 2 specialists. Oh, well, are what we consider not to the one specialist we consider like super strong. That is the supply specialist. It have the least HP. The fun part is nobody complains about it, but it consistently have high peak rate and high win rate. And its HP is already super low, so there's no we don't really know how to nerf it more, unless I think it's like a minus 500 HP. I think that's low enough. But the thing is, it is like a little bit stronger than average, but with the highest peak rate. But the fun part is nobody complains about it, so that's why we just keep it in the game. The other specialists that is actually don't have a high win rate, but people complain about it a lot is the quick supply specialist. When we look at the win rate, it actually have the very average, like sometimes less than 50% win rate. But the people complains about that specialist a lot because of it eventually is a snowballing unit because it gave people a bigger advantage on round 1, so it feels bad to play against, even if we don't really have a high win rate, and we don't really have the enough method to tweak it, because if we give player less supply, it's gonna be too weak, and its player HP is already super low. For that unit, we are considering remove it. So right now, our approach
removing, what do you mean
quick supply?
You're removing quick supply.
We are considering it now because people complain about that a lot, but we don't really have a way to change it. We are considering removing it, but I'm not sure. It is a snowball specialist because it gives bigger advantage for you on round 1. So it's very hard to win round 1 against a quick supply specialist. So we are considering remove it, but we will be waiting for the building system before we make the decision on that. Yeah, so there are multiple problem. One is the anti-air unit in the starting pack. The other is like for some specialists we don't really have enough what's the level? We don't have enough level to tweak it. So yeah.
I think it also plays is part of a visibility problem, because when you choose quick supply and then you eventually win, that will be round 6, round 7, round 8, and at that point, the losing player or the winning player wouldn't think that they won because of long-term economic advantage from quick supply. They will think it's because of board positioning, it's counters or whatever. But when for supply, not quick supply, for supply. For quick supply is much more visible, because if you win for quick supply, usually you win before round 6 because of the snowballing, and people can point to that and say, oh yeah, because of the snowballing and you're winning this early, that must be because of the specialist. The truth is, with quick supply, I had plenty of games both as and also into quick supply where the opponent just try to play very heavy into tempo. If you can survive after round 6, you're in a decent spot. But I can see how the community, especially players in around the 1400 MMR will point to the specialist as opposed to the units on the board and the strategy as the problem. Right, it's visibility, because you can even though supply after 4 rounds give you the exact same benefit as quick supply, people just they don't see it, right?
Yeah, people generally complain about specialists that give you early advantage. Like remember when people have early Sabertooth or Badger?
Yes.
Yeah, most people don't like it. So we are very cautious about specialists that give you early advantages. Wait.
Yeah, sure. Is there anything to be done with the starting position? So this was not one of the questions I had on the notes, but I just figure we're talking about starting comp. That's the starting position that new players choose from like the top players, so that they can get the units going. Is there any plans on giving players themselves some option to set their own starting position?
Yeah, the way it was a feature where people have been asking for a while. So in the future, we would like to add something where you can save your formation, and then you then you can try use it in the future matchups. But for one, I think it make the game more stale. But I still think it's have values. But how about me talking? How about I talk about the building system a little bit, because it actually affects the position.
Okay.
So for the building system, we are trying to add to the game. It actually is not buildings that you can build it yourself. You cannot buy a building. The building system we are implementing is like we add pre-made buildings onto the map. For example, so for map 1, there's some wall around the left tower, and there's a cannon behind the right tower, something like that, and there may be a factory on in the middle or something like that. So for different map, we want to have a different building layout, that all those buildings are not cannot be bought by players. Those buildings are all like just pre-existing on the map. So with this system, we want to randomize the building layout a bit. So each time you play the game, the building are different. There are several dozen building layouts on the map. So each time you can have a random building layout. But both players will have the same building layout. But each time you play, it's kind of like the Age of Empire approach, where the map is a little bit different each time you play it. This is gonna be affecting the formation, the starting formation a lot, because you need to put your position your unit around the buildings. So you need to consider how the buildings are, and then choose the position of your units. So with the addition of this system, this actually makes the pre-made formation a little bit not as practical, because the pre-made position are not considered. Do not consider what kind of building you have on your map. But this building system are still something we are working on. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be exactly like I said it will be, but it is very likely works that way. So that's why we are not doing more for the formations, because the building system gonna change the formation stuff a lot. Yeah. Also, I would like to take this opportunity to tell people who are listening, the building system are not something, not really something you can build yourself. It's just considering it more like a terrain system. It's like the building is part of the map, part of the terrain. You just need to play around it. That's the system we are trying to add to the game. But in the next few months, it may change a lot. We are still testing and experimenting. Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned the buildings are part of Season 4. Is that coming in at the beginning of Season 4?
We are not sure about it yet. We are right now. It's still on the. We are still trying to release it at the beginning of Season 4. Not all the buildings, maybe some of the buildings, but it highly depends on how depends on the testing results, because I think this is probably the biggest change to Mechabellum like ever. Like it's gonna be the biggest change for Mechabellum. So it's very risky. We need to test it a lot. So I'm not sure about it yet. Right now, it's still the development of it is on schedule, but maybe it's just when we test it more, maybe it's just not as fun as we thought it would be, or maybe it's gonna cause a lot of balance issue, all that stuff. Right now, I'm not sure. All the code is like pretty easy to write, but the actual balance and design is very tricky. So I'm not sure, but we are still pushing for a Season 4 release of the buildings.
Cool, nice. It looks like it's again big change to the meta.
Yeah, it's gonna be super big change.
Super big change. While I know building right now is top of mind, and another question players had, and they've had it for a couple of months, is just cosmetics. So player really enjoy the Steel versus Mobile Force skins and cosmetics, and they're just wondering, is there going to be a more theme packs that isn't previously seen? This season we got the pink Sakura Phoenix, which I think and I'm still working towards.
Yeah.
But with cosmetics, because I remember you saying there will be new cosmetics and there will be more than just color changes. So I wonder if there's any more updates on that front.
We actually made several steampunk themed skins for Vulcans, for Fortress, for Scorpions, and for Steel Balls, I think. We are still waiting for the right time to release it, because there needs to be some. Right now, the models are all done, but we would like to give it a little bit more effects, like give it more visual effects, so it feels like more unique. But yes, we are releasing skins that are not just we are releasing skins that completely change the model, but we need to find a right place to release it, because right now we are focusing on the building stuff. Those are like truth be told, the buildings is very risky. We are very nervous about the buildings. So right now, buildings is our biggest focus. The cosmetics, I mean, like if people gonna buy the skin, they will buy the skin. So we can release like a little bit late, and people who want to buy it still gonna buy it if the skin looks awesome. So we are not in a hurry to release the cosmetics. Our priority right now is just there's two priority. One is the buildings. The two is new player onboarding. Right now, we are not that concerned about like monetizing older players. The older players, they if they love the game, they will they will buy good skins eventually. But right now, our focus aside of buildings is how can we make more people aware of Mechabellum, and that's the, and how can we like make the new player experience better for new players. Yeah.
Speaking of new player experience, I want to check in on if there are any updates on the tutorials, or a single player, not single player, like a tutorial like campaign mode. I know the official Mechabellum YouTube channel has been publishing a lot of beginner-friendly tutorials, and sometimes we see comments like, "Oh yeah, I wonder if this could be added in the game so that more people can see it." So I wonder if there's any new updates on tutorials.
Well, for tutorials, for the in-game tutorials, we are not updating it in the immediate future. What we are gonna do is we want to show people the tutorial videos from both the official Mechabellum channel and also from content creators. So basically, we want promote the educational content from the community more to the players inside the game. That's what we want to do, like to help player to find their favorite content creator and learn from their videos and streams. That's what we want to do in the immediate future. Ideally in season 4, in the middle of season 4, we will have all that ready, and players can like log into the game, play it a little bit, go to the community app and find their favorite content creator and learn from them. That's the that's the approach we are taking now. But in the future, we do want to make better in-game tutorial levels. But right now, it's not the focus.
Okay. And of course, we'll definitely will support on the content creation side wherever we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I got an interesting.
It's really helpful. What you guys
my
have
pleasure.
done. Yeah.
My pleasure. One thing that came up on Reddit from time to time, and every time this question comes up, the answer has always been skill issue. So the question was, sometimes a player will question if the opponent is cheating, because their argument essentially says, I'm doing this thing, and the next turn the opponent does the thing that exactly counters my thing. So generally the answer on Reddit is skill issue, but just so that we clear the air for all new players who may have this suspicion, how difficult it is to have players cheat in Mechabellum.
It's pretty difficult. For example, for you to be map hacking the game, because this essentially actually is a turn-based game. So if you can't map hacking on client side, because the server just do not give you your opponent's information before you hit the finish deployment button. So you can't really map hack Mechabellum on the client side. But if you are like a good enough hacker and you somehow hack into the server, and make the server feed you your opponent's formation, then yes. But if the hacker actually hacked into the server, then we have a much bigger problem. And I doubt they will just be like doing map hack. If they have the ability, they're probably gonna do something more destructive. So yeah, there's no map hack in Mechabellum, unless there's some bug I don't know. But in theory, it's very, very hard to be map hacking the game because it's just not possible. On the client side, you need to hack into the server to do it. And for all the other maybe give yourself more supplies, give yourself more supplies, more units, like make your units stronger, all that kind of cheat. You can do it if you are playing the single player modes. But if you are playing against opponent, you need to hack into your opponent's computer and also modify the unit stats on your opponent's computer. So eventually both you and your opponent have the same battle result. Otherwise, if you modify the data on your client, your opponent is just gonna have a different battle result, and the server will intervene to decide who is cheating. And if the server says, "Oh, you have a different stats than the server," then you will be kicked from the game. And if you do it enough times, you will be banned. So that's the anti-cheat system. So it's very hard to actually hack Mechabellum. It's not because we are super good at programming or something. It's just a fundamental feature of essentially turn-based game. Essentially, it's the game that is easier to hack is always the real-time one. The real-time one because the time limit, you need everything happens very quickly, so the server cannot intervene a lot. But because we are essentially, you can consider us as a card game like Hearthstone. So it's you either need to hack the server or you need to hack your opponent's computer to actually be able to cheat. So basically, I would say 99% of the time, if you think your opponent is cheating, he actually is not. But we do have the opposite problem. Sometimes our anti-cheat system just overreacts. This mainly because some bug. It's some bug make due to some bug you actually did something the server do not allow you to do. And then the anti-cheat system just swooped in hey, you are cheating, I'm gonna kick you from the game. This actually happens a dozen times every day among our whole player base. That's just because the anti-cheat system is just too sensitive, and there are bugs in the client and making this kind of stuff happen. So this is, if you sometimes say data error, that's where the anti-cheat system thinks someone is cheating, but most of the time they are not cheating. It's just a bug. It's a client bug makes them do something they cannot do, and the server just this is there is a data error or something. We are improving on this side. This is very bad. We don't want players get banned for something they didn't do. So this is very bad, and we are trying our best to reduce this kind of problem, and we are making progress. And I think we would like to eventually like eliminate 90% of this kind of problem in the next 3 months. Yeah, so about the cheat detection, we actually have the opposite of people cheating and the system not catching it.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was a very thorough answer. I think you might be frozen a little bit. Let me see if I can get you back here. Oh,
Yeah,
there you are. You're back. You were frozen for a second there. On the topic of, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, but the Discord actually, the Discord UI are just black. I think they are.
Okay. You're still okay to me. You were frozen for a bit though.
I need to switch to another VPN node. Give me a minute.
Okay.
State of not catching the cheater, we are catching innocent people who didn't cheat. Yeah.
Okay. Do you still have video? So can you turn on the video?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
All right. One last question.
Yeah.
Also on the topic of technology, what do you recommend as a proper computer setup that will smoothly run games, especially larger 2v2 or free-for-all games in the later round?
Yeah, I think the if you bought your computer in the past 2 years, I think it's probably gonna be fine for 2v2. It's still gonna be lagging in the 4-player brawl. But for the new computers in last 2 years, I think it's all gonna be fine. It's mainly the problem is for new computers. The problem is always the CPU. The you don't really need like a super good GPU, but you need a good CPU to run Mechabellum smoothly. With that being said, we are working on optimization. We want to make the improve the performance of the game, and I think in the next several months there gonna be some improvement. We will try some like more aggressive optimization technique where we like maybe the visual is not as good, but we want to give everybody an option to run the game smoothly, even if like we if you have to like choose a uglier mode, I guess.
Awesome. So big CPU is the key to running big rounds, especially later rounds with a lot of units on the board.
Yeah. We do recognize that the game performance-wise, I still need a lot of work.
I think this is getting better. It's just, for me personally, and my computer is not new. Like I'm running a 10th generation i7, so that's like 5-6 years old. It's quite old. Aside from like a round 8 or round 7 and onward for a free-for-all game, that it lags and it's just not smooth. I think it handles everything else fine. I am currently myself in the process of getting to a 14th gen i9, mostly for my work, and I hope that will solve the problem once and for all later rounds. But but thank you for still optimizing. I think this is important, especially for FFA enjoyers, because the battles just get so huge in the later round.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Optimization is like a big priority for us. we actually consider it consider optimization being a big improvement for new player brains. So, so our approach is like this will attract like make new players less likely to quit the game. So we actually put it on a very high priority. We are like optimizing it. Just some of the optimization results are not visible in the game for now, but in the next several months, it will gradually like roll out. Stuff like this gonna be like tricky, like the undo button. We did the undo button. We finished the feature of the undo button like a month ago, and still yesterday we have to do an emergency patch to fix bugs regarding undo button. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you mentioned it's not a very easy thing to do, and I could imagine there's so many elements that undo button touches. So thank you for the hot patch.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all my questions for today's engine room chat. Thank you very much for spending your time as always. Always a pleasure. And for those of you who are watching, there will be a summary underneath this video and also on Reddit. And as always, if you have any questions or just comments or just thoughts, regardless where you are on your Mechabellum journey, whether you're a new player or you've been playing for the last 2 years, feel free to drop a comment and we will try to address them in the future episodes. So thank you all very much for watching, and thank you, Bearlike, for joining us today.
Thank you for doing the podcast. Really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much.